Welcome back to G News Daily, your go-to source for the biggest updates from the USA and across the globe. Today, we are counting down the top 10 most impactful news stories you need to know right now. Before we jump in, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss a world update. Let's get started with number 10. Today, first news: Jaishankar and Rubio strengthen India-US strategic ties in Washington. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington on Tuesday, marking a pivotal moment in the deepening India-US partnership. The high-level meeting took place just ahead of the inaugural Critical Minerals Ministerial, where the two leaders discussed formalizing cooperation in mineral exploration, mining and processing to secure global supply chains. The ministers also welcomed a landmark trade agreement between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, which reduces reciprocal tariffs to 18%. Beyond trade, the dialogue spanned defense, nuclear energy and technology. Both leaders reaffirmed their commitment to the Quad framework, emphasizing that a prosperous Indo-Pacific is essential for shared interests. This engagement underscores a new chapter of economic and strategic synergy between the two democracies. Next news: U.S. House passes funding bill to end partial government shutdown. Washington, D.C. The U.S. House of Representatives voted on Tuesday to end the 4-day partial government shutdown, passing a crucial funding measure with a narrow 217 to 214 margin. The legislation, now heading to President Donald Trump for his signature, provides full-year appropriations for most federal agencies through September 30th. However, the Department of Homeland Security received only a temporary extension until February 13th, as intense debates over immigration policies continue between parties. The vote showcased significant bipartisan movement despite leadership opposition, with 21 Republicans voting against the bill and 21 Democrats supporting it. This minibus package follows dramatic procedural hurdles and intense negotiations. The president's expected signature will formally restore federal operations that have been halted since Saturday. Next news: Indo-US Trade Pact, the 18% reality. The recently agreed Indo-US trade framework marks a significant shift as U.S. reciprocal tariffs on Indian goods drop from 50% to 18%. While the 18% rate is celebrated, a devastating truth emerges from recent economic studies: tariffs are essentially an own goal. Research indicates that 96% of these costs are paid by American importers and consumers rather than Indian exporters. While Indian exports to the US have dipped as businesses seek other markets, those remaining have not lowered their prices. Consequently, the US consumer faces higher costs, with average household expenses estimated to rise by $1,300 in 2026. As India potentially lowers its own barriers to zero for US goods, the deal creates a complex balance between consumer benefits and domestic production pressures. Next news: Kremlin questions Trump's claim on India-Russia oil ties. The Kremlin has responded to President Donald Trump's claim that India will stop purchasing Russian oil following a new trade deal with Washington. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov stated that Moscow has received no such communication from New Delhi. While Trump asserted that India committed to ending Russian oil imports in exchange for a reduced 18% tariff, India has only confirmed the tariff reduction without mentioning an oil boycott. This situation is critical, as India relies heavily on discounted Russian crude for energy security. Experts warn that a sudden halt could trigger high inflation and strain global supplies. While the US linked the tariff relief to India's exit from Russian energy, New Delhi's silence suggests a complex diplomatic balancing act remains underway. Next news: Trump reopens government with temporary funding deal. President Donald Trump signed the Consolidated Appropriations Act on Tuesday, ending a 3-day partial government shutdown and restoring federal operations. While the bill funds most of the government through the fiscal year, it provides only a 2-week reprieve for the Department of Homeland Security. This creates a new funding cliff on February 14th, as lawmakers remain divided over ICE accountability and immigration measures. The House passed the legislation with a narrow 217 to 214 margin, highlighting deep partisan splits. Speaker Mike Johnson earned praise from the president for securing the deal, though House Democrats warn that full-year funding for DHS remains in jeopardy without significant policy changes. Negotiations must now conclude within 10 days to prevent a second shutdown affecting agencies like the TSA and FEMA. Next news: Trump praises Putin's word, despite deadly Kiev strikes. President Donald Trump has claimed Vladimir Putin kept his word by pausing attacks for 1 week, despite Russia launching a record-breaking missile assault on Kiev immediately after. Trump noted the truce lasted from Sunday to Sunday, stating he would take anything to move toward ending the war. He refused to criticize the Russian leader, even as ballistic missiles rained down on Ukrainian cities. The timing of the strike, occurring just before peace talks in Abu Dhabi, has drawn sharp criticism from President Zelensky. Ukraine accused Moscow of using the ceasefire to stockpile munitions, rather than seeking peace. With total casualties nearing 2 million, Zelensky's team has reportedly adjusted its negotiation strategy, warning that Russia is not acting in good faith ahead of the high-stakes discussions. Next news. San Diego teacher probed over political classroom display. Bailey Hill Ringer, a first-grade teacher at Audubon Elementary, is under investigation by the San Diego Unified School District. A viral video showed the 27-year-old flipping an American flag upside down and posting an "Abolish ICE" sign on her classroom wall. The clip, set to music from the Hunger Games, sparked immediate public outcry. The district has confirmed the incident is being reviewed according to policy, though classes remain in session. While the video was deleted, it continues to circulate on social media, with critics calling for Ringer's dismissal. Parents have expressed concerns over political indoctrination of young children, while the district maintains its focus on student safety and learning. Next news. House panel dismisses Marcos impeachment complaints. The Philippine House Justice Committee has rejected 2 impeachment complaints against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., ruling they lack sufficient substance. The complaints accuse the president of corruption, constitutional violations, and betrayal of public trust. After 3 days of deliberation, the committee overwhelmingly decided the claims, ranging from misuse of flood control funds to his stance on the International Criminal Court, merited no further action. Marcos, who has denied all wrongdoing, currently holds a strong majority in the House of Representatives. For impeachment to proceed, 1/3 of the chamber must support the measure. However, loyalists are expected to uphold the committee's findings during the upcoming plenary vote. This decision effectively clears a major political hurdle for Marcos as he reaches the midpoint of his term. Next news. U.S. Congressman urges global shift from Russia to India-U.S. partnership. Congressman Rich McCormick has called for the total isolation of Russia to cripple its war funding and protect European stability. Highlighting Ukraine's critical resources, McCormick noted that Russia's $2.1 trillion economy is dwarfed by the economic power of the US and Europe. He argued that Russia is no longer a viable long-term partner for India. Emphasizing shared democratic values, McCormick stated that India's growth lies in its relationship with the $30 trillion US economy rather than with Putin's regime. This push for stronger ties follows a major trade deal between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi, which the White House described as a testament to their cordial and productive relationship. Next news. US rallies protest violence against Hindus in Bangladesh. Peaceful rallies were held across 25 US cities today to draw attention to the persecution of Hindu and minority communities in Bangladesh. Despite freezing winter weather, participants gathered at civic centers to condemn reported incidents of arson, lynching, and sexual violence. Organizers and Bangladeshi Hindu Americans expressed deep concern over the Bangladesh government's failure to protect its citizens. Through prayers and moments of silence, the coordinated initiative aimed to demand accountability and human dignity. Leaders emphasized that these gatherings are part of an ongoing effort to ensure religious freedom and safety for all minorities in the region. Would you like me to fact-check any of these specific news points further for you?